the venue for the UEFA Super Cup final, well, Super Cup clash. It's a one-off game between Champions League holders Real Madrid and the Europa League winners Eintracht Frankfurt, played earlier today on Wednesday. A win for Madrid would see them join FC Barcelona and AC Milan on 5 Super Cup titles. That's the record. Frankfurt, meanwhile, were seeking their first hold on the trophy, and we have highlights. Right, so we have a glitch in the matrix, and we've sent for Neo. He's going to be here soon. Meanwhile, let's talk about what we saw, because Eric Rademakers was here. He previewed the game with me, and he did the halftime show that we had earlier. Eric, one would say that from a Real Madrid perspective, from the coach's perspective, preparing for a campaign of at least 65 games, we expect Real to play that many, that it was a good workout today.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you see more and more in the football right now that they purposely do a shorter preseason. Even heard Guardiola say it, I expect my team the first few matches not to perform too great because the season is so long, we can't put too much emphasis in the beginning. So you start using, as big teams like Madrid, the actual matches to get ready.
Sharp, yeah.
So today was one of those matches for Madrid where you know, you're trying to, as a coach, trying to make sure that you're ready to actually win the trophy, but you're still, you know, working towards the season. Mm-hmm. But Madrid came off good today. Yeah. I think it was first 20 to 30 minutes, maybe a little nervous because some chances were created, but I think overall the experience and the level, the class that the players have came through, and relative easy victory today.
Yeah, I think the highlights are already know. Neo has done his job. Let's take them.
He's got it. Now Kamada. Another fine save by Courtois.
Maybe too much time as it goes.
Too quickly. 4 forward with this attack. Now Benzema. Vinicius Junior. Oh, it's off the goal line.
Benzema puts it on the plate here. You think it's got to be a goal, but Tuta's alive.
Benzema. Found by Vinicius Junior. Valverde in the middle. It's Vinicius Junior. Benzema's header. Real take the lead, and it's David Alaba.
Really were lack of concentration. Casemiro keeps it alive. It's the simplest of finishes. Such a soft goal to concede, though, this.
They only sold around 2,000 tickets of the allocation they were offered by UEFA. There's around 8,000 from Eintracht. Kroos. Benzema. Modric. Benzema. Modric again. Now Mendy. Vinicius Junior. Scrambling save by Trapp. Modric. Casemiro. He's rattled the top of the crossbar. Kamada. Knauf. Gaps open for him.
Yeah.
Drill again, of course. Vinicius Junior. Best of acceleration to give him that metre or so that he needed. Benzema straight through Trapp.
I was wondering how this has found the back of the net. Kevin Trapp coped with a deflection 5 minutes ago, did really well. This time, no such deflection, and well, I don't know what happens. He's just let it slip through him. Benzema is as surprised as anybody.
Real Madrid get their hands on silverware yet again, and look what it means to even the most experienced members of their squad.
La Liga winners, European Champions League winners, and Super Cup winners. They're now joined top of the Super Cup table with Barcelona and AC Milan. All right, so we continue to talk about this Super Cup clash with Eric Rademakers, assistant coach at Arnett Gardens and the Jamaica Premier League. So Eric, talk about systems now and segments of the team. Defensively, how did Real look to you today?
I thought that they still allowed some spaces here and there. I mean, they play with the 4-3-3. They have some movement going around when Carvajal moves up. You maybe get Valverde come back, or Modric even kind of come in, or Casemiro and Kroos maybe dropping when they build up. But overall, defensively, they have their back four. But I thought they did make some mistakes.
Especially in the first half.
Yeah, and I think it came in from little transition moments. Frankfurt is a team that once they get the ball, they can have energy going forward. But I think it's crucial for a team that tries to win all these high competitions, that you're very sharp in those transition moments. And I think today, we saw it in one moment in the beginning when Mendy lost the ball, is that through pass to the middle. The gap is way too big over there. And a proper striker against a Champions League, a City, a Chelsea, you're going to be 1-0 down there. But I think they have the personnel to really have a proper defense. I mean, you have Courtois even behind you, that you see today. You make a 1-2 mistake and you have a keeper who still step up for it. So I think defensively they have quite a solid unit going into the season.
Yeah, you mentioned just now, Eric, that Real Madrid would have used this as a pre-season fixture, and George just questioned you about the shape of the team and how they look going into the new season. Now, coming off the last campaign when they were Champions League winners, and in a domestic league that their traditional rivals, Barcelona, appear to be on the decline, as are Atletico Madrid, because their season last year was not as good as the season before when they were champions. You know, the game has to be played, yes, but they look a shoe-in for La Liga, don't they? That lives on SportsMax and starts this weekend.
Yeah, I mean, I think we all look back at the days from Mourinho versus Guardiola, Messi versus Ronaldo. I mean, even back in the day with Figo, and that was great. And we kind of missed that for a few years. I do hope, I mean, it's always magically how Barcelona and Madrid find money to rebuild when they're all the way down. But they did it again. They found some money to still register all the players, still get some new players. So I hope we're going to see somewhat of a battle again in La Liga. But I do expect Madrid to be the favourite going into La Liga, definitely this year.
Yeah, the commentator at the end of the match quite correctly called Ancelotti a serial winner. You know, sometimes when people talk about the best coaches in the world, the conversation sometimes doesn't include Ancelotti, which is strange, isn't it?
Yeah, I think, you know, even when you see it, yes, he won so much, but I think even if you're not aware of him, you see him on the sideline and you just realize this is somebody that in his resume, in his repertoire, he has so many trophies. He doesn't, just like Madrid, he doesn't panic. You know, he realizes there's always a way that I can turn this around, and I have the knowledge. So, no, he definitely needs to be up there.
You know, I'm looking at this Real Madrid team, and on the analysis show, we spoke about Mendy and a couple of dodgy moments in the first half. You have spoken about the defending, and you said, well, in terms of personnel, they should be fine. Where in this team do you put Rudiger, especially considering that Rudiger's play at Chelsea involved him breaking away from his defensive station a couple of times to raid upfield? That's not the way Real Madrid plays.
But I actually think, and we saw it lightly today with Casemiro kind of in the build-up going backwards, I do think there is a space for it between Alaba being flexible where he can play. I wouldn't be surprised if there's a certain rotation with Rudiger as a centre-back where they would allow him to go maybe forward, where Casemiro would drop in. Where maybe even then you have Alaba who's on the left that might can squeeze into a back line that could facilitate Rudiger going forward. Because I do think that, as we just talked about Ancelotti, I don't think he just goes for players, you know, because there's a pressure, or, you know, we maybe see some at other clubs, there's a pressure from this or that. Madrid not in that situation. So I would assume that when you get a centre-back like Rudiger who has more of an attacking threat with it, that he does use the players around him to facilitate that.
But hear me then, all right, we know that Real Madrid's strongest backline, which was fielded today, well,
Mendy, you could.
All right, so Mendy on the left, Militao, Alaba, Carvajal. That's the first choice for you would think before Rudiger came. Does he break that up for Rudiger? What does he do to shift
So I think that Mendy's inconsistency, I think, everybody agrees, is very talented, but he still makes those mistakes. I think Mendy is the one that could have to look out for it, where Alaba could be used as a left back, and then Rudiger comes into the middle with Militao. So I think that is an option that he considers. And that maybe even worries Mendy a little bit.
But here's the thing, though. You would know that a player like Alaba, a part of the grumbling that happened at Bayern Munich was that he didn't want to play left back. So the role that Ancelotti has made out for him at Real Madrid, where he is centre-half with license to push forward and assist from midfield, that's what he likes. When a player with his resume, you don't tell him where you want him to play. You ask him where he feels best.
Let me ask you.
Yes.
A club with a resume like Madrid.
Madrid. That's a rebuttal.
Would you tell Madrid I'm not playing there?
Or Ancelotti that you're not playing there?
Yeah, I think that plays a small role in it, but I do think initially there is a plan. The plan is for you to be a starting centre-back, but we might use your flexibility because it is a player that can play in a lot of positions.
And one of the things that Ancelotti hasn't done in his long career to date is field 3 centre-halves. That's not his system.
No, I don't think so. But I think crucial working with players from this level, it's how do you talk to a player that has to play out of position he doesn't really prefer. And I think Ancelotti has such a wealth of experience and knowledge when it comes to player management that if Ancelotti sit down with Alaba, it might be a different response than when it was with a different coach in a different position.
Eintracht Frankfurt, they had, I was going to say that they had their fingers burnt, but their whole body was burnt by Bayern Munich on the weekend. They were 5-0 down at halftime. I kept getting the alerts and I was like, wait, this is a pre-season game? 1-0, 2-0, 3-0, Man is scoring, everybody's scoring.
The third minute it started.
Yes, so 5-0 at halftime.
You have to remember they were outside of the top 10 in Bundesliga last
They finished
year.
11th, right.
11th, yeah.
But it's the first game of the season.
Bayern is Bayern.
But it's the first game of the season, so I was like, halftime 5-0, I thought for a moment it was a pre-season game. They did better in the second half.
It might even have resulted in them performing better today.
Perhaps.
Because you get such a warning, and maybe they were confident coming off of the Europa League win last season. But I was a little surprised that they played the exact same way. So it's that 3-4-2-1 that goes into a 5-4-1 when they defend. So the two wide players, they drop back, the 4 line in front of it, and you just have Boré by himself there. And I thought the experience, when you have a quality team like Bayern, they're going to find a way to break through. And I thought they would assume Madrid would maybe be the same, and they go back to maybe pressing a little bit higher, which they have done last season. But they did the same, but I thought they did it better. They were more disciplined to actually stop them from creating easy chances.
We're out of time, Eric, but I have to ask you this. So based on what you've seen of Frankfurt today, they are into the Champions League proper, the group stage, by virtue of being Europa League holders. Two-part question. Do they fare better in the Bundesliga, which is tougher than most people think, than they did last year? And do they make an impression in the group stages of the Champions League with the squad they have now?
I mean, they did lose Kostic, but I was impressed with Lens today, that kind of fill in that spot. I thought they played a good game. I know they have Goetz as well that come on.
And Knauf can only improve.
So I would expect them to do better than the 11th spot, but they're going to struggle in the Champions League.
There you have it. There you have it. So we've talked about Real Madrid and Eintracht Frankfurt, both teams who will be in the group stages of the Champions League. The Champions League, of course, will be on SportsMax and all our platforms all the way through the season, and we'll be giving the Champions League the treatment it deserves as the premier club football competition in the world.